If you look at Cliffhanger like studios on EA, they don't have any games. They were only working on Black Panther,
Yes. Yeah.
which is wild.
That EA has canceled the Black Panther game and closed Cliffhanger Games. This is the third round of layoffs this year. Yeah, so they're making this Black Panther game. And what's noticeable about this game and this company in particular is, well, obviously EA has been laying people off like crazy, but they there's a lot of layers to this. Now, here's Cliffhanger Games will no longer exist after coming very soon. They're also not very active on X, if that tells you anything you need to know about Cliffhanger Games. The last post was in August of 2023 when they promoted.
Did they move to Blue Sky?
Good question. Good question. Don't know, but obviously didn't have a whole lot to talk about when it comes to this. Now, they laid off 75 people, and we keep an ongoing total.
I can't find it, so I don't think they did.
You gotta hit him with the asmanwelcomehome.png.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's interesting about this is one of the people who worked at this company was really, I think, kind of a figurehead for the company, and really, once it was discovered who this person was, really kind of spoke for the company and some of the involvement with the company. And that was this person named Daniel Lalanders. Now, this person, Danielle. Okay.
I was going to say, I remember a Danny Lalanders. Wasn't she the one who was just like, don't hire white men?
Correct. Yes. You are correct. This is the person right here who, let's just get a quick rundown of who this person is in their own words.
1 year in the industry. I really cannot believe it's been 1 year. It's like just yesterday when I launched my first game and just got the attention of everyone. My name is Daniel Launders, and I'm going to tell you about my 1 year in the industry and my experience and everything that I wish I knew before I got into all of this.
The idea of having 1 whole year in the industry, like you're some sort of seasoned vet at that point, is actually kind of insulting, if I'm being honest with you.
It's a little funny.
And especially if you look at the timestamps here, you can see the white-centric industry over here.
Industry.
Right. She talks about making her own game here and some of the things. She also mentioned how she doesn't hire a single person, a single white person.
My next concept is team. Who is your team? A little background about this. I have a team of 21 right now for Validate. It's a pretty big team. It's a crazy big team for indie games. But who is your team? Validate has a team of mostly all people of color. We have no white people on our team. I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment. And I know the best way for an environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me. And I'm not saying that white people in the industry are creating unsafe environments. I'm not saying that. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying that sometimes it is hard to work with white people because they think that something may be okay, but it was really a microaggression. And no one wants to deal with that while they're trying to make a game that they love.
So that's racist.
Yeah.
Right. So she was with that company, and then she no longer was with that company now, but she was definitely the figurehead of people working at Cliffhanger Games.
She was an associate narrative designer.
Good. Right. Put the fries in the bag.
That's right.
It's funny because if you remember, all this happened in, I believe, March of 2024, and she left Cliffhanger Games in May of 2024. Unknown if she was fired, if she left on her own, but it is worth pointing out that before she worked for EA, she worked for Sweet Baby Inc. Just a fun little fact.
Mm-hmm. Wow, fun fact.
A little refresher for you guys.
It's amazing how that works out. Now, she mentioned a game that she worked on, and once again, she did have 1 full year in the industry when she made that video, and she had released 1 game, a game called Validate. Now, I don't know if you remember this game, but let me just kind of show you the Steam page here, just so we're all on the same page of what type of game this is. And this was a game that was, well, just let the trailer play for you here. Here you go. let's go with audio. Let's just see the trailer here for Validate.
I vaguely remember looking at this back when we first looked into this woman.
Oh yeah.
Are you ready to find that future bae? Or will you mess up and fumble the bag?
Can we just stop for a second and see this dude right here?
Why don't they make attractive characters is my question. Like, it's not hard to make attractive black
She's
characters,
not
man. It's not hard, dude. Why? Why do they do this?
Yeah, well, they all have the pronouns in all the characters here. This is definitely a she, they, because they really want you to know that. He, him.
Yeah, obviously.
Right. But this game, let's just kind of check in to see how well it's doing right now and how many people are playing Validate. By the way, Volume 1, by the way. They definitely plan on doing more of these in the future. Right now, there are 0 people playing Validate right now, which is off from its peak of 1 in the last 24 hours.
It's got a higher review score than Crime Boss, though.
That's true. That's true. But a lot of people are kind of dancing on the grave here of this situation. Where once again, what was her title at Cliffhanger?
What was it, like senior? Hang on, let me pull it back up. I want to get this right. I don't want to say the wrong word. LinkedIn load. Okay, so on Cliffhanger EA, she was associate narrative designer.
Yeah, so the narrative designer.
11 months. Okay.
The narrative designer of the Black Panther game, which, she did such a good job of creating a narrative on Validate that, she should have been hired for this situation. She has not taken this very well, at least the firing and just everything in general, as she has gone protected.
She's been protected since last year, if you remember, when it all broke, like the news that she had, said all these things. Right. She went and protected her tweets, and I'm pretty sure she had another account that I feel like she nuked that one last year as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's been private for over a year. It's not to do with Black Panther.
Okay, well, her website is also down.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
That's funny because I clicked on it this morning and it was working.
Really?
Yeah, I remember clicking on it. That's why I put the link in the document. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, this is another situation. I think this is, look, I'm not pointing fingers directly at this lady, right? I will not do that because she was she's one of 300 people that were fired. Well, she wasn't fired in this situation, but she was definitely a part of the perception of Cliffhanger Games when she worked there, which ultimately led to the appetite for this game not being a whole lot, right? And then ultimately EA canceling the game and ultimately closing the studio. So when you have these forward-facing people saying these obviously horrible things, it's a trickle-down effect, which ultimately led to really bad things happening. And like I said, I don't root for anybody getting their jobs cut or closing studios at all. But what's the old saying? Fuck around and you find out, right? So
it actually is really funny because if you look at Cliffhanger studios on EA, they don't have any games. They were only working on Black Panther.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is wild.
So the game itself obviously didn't perform or even internally well enough to get.
I don't even know how long this game was in development for. I don't think there was an answer.
But this makes me want to have one of the employees leak all of the stuff they had been working on, just so we can see how ridiculous the Black Panther was internally. To know that it got scrapped this fucking hard before it ever saw the light of day.
Man, that would be so good to see. If anybody has a build, if you worked at EA or if you worked at Cliffhanger and you want to get that out there, man, just put it out there. That'd be so good.
Okay, so the game was originally announced in 2023. Then already by 2025, it was completely shut down. And the budget is unknown, so we don't even know how much millions of dollars they wasted on this game either.
Right.
I'd like to know that, too.
Mm-hmm. Well, Cliffhanger was based in Seattle. So they had a really big responsibility of developing, they're developing something based off of a Marvel IP, which that's a huge responsibility, and it's really hard to mess up. But Seattle, big cost over there, 300 people working on it. Look, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who are really upset and say, Blabs, see if you can find some folks on that said, no, I worked for Cliffhanger and got fired. And it would be interesting to go down that rabbit hole to see how many of them have pronouns in bios. I bet there's a greater than.
That might be hard. They might be on Blue Sky, and I won't be able to see that.
That's true. That's true. Well, maybe we'll do a little digging right there. So rest in peace, Black Panther game. Rest in peace there, Cliffhanger Games. Mess around and you find out. So there we are right there. Mm-hmm. Do you know that if you subscribe, you won't go bald? Just kidding. You actually probably will.